Yo, what's good? Welcome to episode one of this series where we're just going to be talking about pharmacology, biochemistry, performance psychology, whatnot, maybe some fringe things like peptides. And first off, we're going to get straight into it with Retatrutide. So we're going to be talking about some effects of the drug that are really interesting that a lot of people don't really talk about. So these are just going to be more of the side effects. Everybody knows it helps you get shredded, but we're going to get into some of the more niche aspects of this compound. First off, some background context on the drug and its mechanistic pathways. So what makes Retatrutide so powerful is it's actually hitting three mechanistic pathways at once that are highly efficient for fat loss. So essentially what's going on is you have the GLP-1 pathway, which is basically like Ozempic, which is going to slow down your gastric emptying. So that's not always a great thing, and that's going to connect to some side effects later that we'll discuss. But then you also got the GIP pathway. So that's going to help you with insulin sensitivity, right? So this is going to help with nutrient partitioning, which is why Retatrutide might be kind of good for a lean bulk and is just honestly just an amazing miracle drug. But GIP is going to basically get more of the carbohydrates used for fuel and into your muscle, and not just stored as fat and just like bullshit water, like subcutaneous water under your skin. So when you're on Retatrutide, you're gonna get a bit of a sharper face, you're gonna get like the masseters coming through, just like a little bit. When your lab rat is on Retatrutide, right? You're gonna, look better, tighten up, skin's gonna be looking nice, you're gonna be looking shredded. And then the last one is gonna be glucagon. So the glucagon pathway is just gonna help you burn more fat. So it's gonna metabolize fatty acids and whatnot. So basically, long story short, glucagon-like pathway is gonna increase your energy expenditure by about 300 calories per day, maybe, right? So this is also gonna raise your heartbeat a little bit. So that's within the side effect realm. First side effect we're going to talk about that is honestly quite obvious and discussed, before we get into the real iceberg stuff, is the GI issues. So when you're on Retatrutide and your digestion is slower and things are kind of sitting down there, it's not going to be great for aesthetics, right? So you might actually get like a little bit of a gut going on while you're getting leaner. It's paradoxical, weird, I know, but just part of the drug. Another thing with the GI issues is really nauseating workouts, like leg day particularly is going to fuck you up. So yeah, just having food sitting around in your stomach is just not great for being athletic, right? The next side effect we're gonna get into is anhedonia. I think I'm saying that right. I should know, I'm a psychobio major, but anhedonia. So this is a lack of interest, right? This is a really interesting one because there are GLP-1 receptors all throughout the body, in our nerve endings, right in our brain. And people are beginning to come to the conclusion that, since Retatrutide turns down, right, like our appetite for food and whatnot, maybe it's gonna turn down our appetite for dopaminergic things, right? So this includes, like going after that girl that, you're fiending over in class, right? She's looking hella bad. Retatrutide might be like, man, you don't care about that anymore, bruh. Like, you don't want to eat anymore, you don't want to fucking go talk to girls after class, you don't want to fucking low-key go lift weights. This could happen to you, right? If you're like a hyper responder or you take too much of a, dose is too high. So anhedonia, you got to watch out for that. All right, so now we're going to get like dead ass into the weeds of things, right? This is kind of like more rare side effects. My lab rat has personally experienced these side effects with Reta. And this is the skin sensitivity. So you're gonna get skin sensitivity going through your scalp, going through your shin, going through your fucking arms, going through your nuts, right? Like, not really the last one, but like it's possible, right? Like if you push the dose too high, it's gonna feel like there's like fucking ants on you or something. Like it's a weird, okay, maybe not that particularly horrible, but it is a strange feeling, right? It's like this kind of like crawling sensation that also feels like uncomfortably, maybe slightly painful, right? So gotta be careful with the Reta, right? This shit is weird. This shit is understudied, right? This is a research drug. Half of y'all are probably getting this shit from like Chinese research pharmacies, so we don't know, right? We don't know what could be in this motherfucker. That's probably like the most niche side effect. I would say these kind of side effects typically come with higher doses. So if you're starting out on Reta, you should probably be giving your lab rat no more than 1 milligram per week, right? So like most lab rats, like you give them like 3 milligrams, 4 milligrams per week starting off, you know, their receptors are not ready for that compound load. So the lab rat, you know, lab rat's not gonna be able to sleep. You know, the lab rat shins are gonna be skin sensitive as hell. You know, the lab rat's gonna have sensitive scalp, and the lab rat's not gonna wanna talk to girls after class or go hit the gym or do whatever the lab rat usually does. So you gotta be careful with this stuff. This is a powerful fucking compound indeed. Yeah, that was a bunch of horrible shit, right? Like, goddamn, why would I ever take Retatrutide, right? Well, you know, Retatrutide does get you shredded. Retatrutide did get my lab rat shredded personally, right? So, you know, there's also some other fringe kind of positive effects of the drug that I think, you know, these are the real gold ones. Like, people honestly aren't talking about these. So getting straight into it, I think the less interest in short-term dopamine things can be kind of good, right? So, you know, a little bit of this anhedonia feeling, right, is not horrible, right? And this can lead to you, you know, doing stuff that is not, like, you'll be less interested in doing bullshit, right? So that means like you might be not as interested in gambling anymore if that was dopaminergic for you. You might be less interested in drinking. You might be less interested in overly smoking, hitting the cart all day or some bullshit like that, right? Like, these type of dopamine focused activities are just gonna be less salient, right? Less potent to you, less potent to your brain, right? Because we're turning down the power of these signals with Retatrutide. So that is a fringe positive, right? And I found with my lab rat personally, my lab rat was less interested in hitting the cart, less interested in smoking the za, right? My lab rat was never a drinker, but could give a fuck about alcohol now, right? So really interesting effects with my lab rat. And that leads to my second positive, which is that my lab rat expressed more eudaimonic interest. There's hedonism, right? And then being eudaimonic. So people who are hedonistic are basically always seeking like the easy pleasures of life, right? Whether that be like short-term dopamine through, again, gambling, drinking, partying, you know, going on vacation, tanning, whatever it may be, whatever the fuck, right? And that's a little bit of that is great, right? Honestly, like, humans in 2026 with all the shit we got going on, right? Motherfuckers deserve to have some dopamine going on, right? We deserve a little bit of it. But, you know, that can't be the end all be all of your life, and you also need some eudaimonic drive, right? So drive to build a successful career basically is what that means. Drive to, you know, get your finances up, maybe, you know, be a successful entrepreneur, like whatever your field is, succeeding in the field and feeling recognized by society as a productive member of society. So I found that Retatrutide for my lab rat basically made my lab rat less interested in the short-term dopamine things and more interested in getting into that shmoney, and more interested in kind of long-term constructive pursuits, which is a net positive. So quite interesting stuff, right? So basically, disclaimer, you know, you shouldn't be giving lab rats Retatrutide maybe, I don't know, maybe if you want to, you know, for research purposes only, like, right? Because we don't know what's going on with Reta. This is a new compound, right? So just thought I'd chat about it a little bit. Let me know what you think in the comments, and stay tapped in with Aiden Aesthetics. We're going to be talking about pharmacology, you know, workout psychology, all the good stuff, optimizing stuff, fucking peptides, you name it, bro. Stay tapped in. Thank you guys.